Okay, we are live. So here we are, overcoming objections and keeping a positive mindset. So, I don't know if you guys have had a chance. I know some of you guys have been on since the first training, and some of you may not have caught the other ones, and that's okay. But go back and watch them. They were all on different things. So I'm not going to cover anything about doing the offering today. So we're going to assume that you've reached out, you've tried to flip that hostess, you've reached out to that customer, and they're giving you an objection, which is likely what you're going to get. So that's what I wanted to go over tonight, was the overcoming objections. So let me go down here. Okay. So and these are all things, you guys, obviously these are all things that I've been taught somewhere along the line. So these are all things I've picked up from trainings. As you guys probably know, I had zero experience coming into Color Street. So, and enrolling has never been, I've never enrolled 6 or 7 in a month. I'm a pretty consistent enroller. I like it that way. I really do, because I want to work with my newbies to try and get them off to a strong start. So for me, Circle of Excellence is basically like what I was trying to do since from the beginning. So that's such a amazing goal that I think Color Street put in there, with a little incentive as well, monetarily. But it really is something that, if you're doing it consistently, if you're offering the business consistently, you're going to hear a lot of no's, but that's also going to get you to your yeses. So I just wanted to I'm going to touch way more on objections. But mindset is so important, because not only, and it's through the whole process, it's just getting the guts up to offer, making sure you're in the right mindset to offer. Ooh, the wind's going crazy. I thought someone was at my window. But it really is so important to think about, it's not about me, it's about them. So when you're offering the business because you know that it's going to benefit them, then hearing no is okay, because it's not the right time for them. It's in their control anyway. Right? So it's just, really putting yourself out there and getting that no is just so important. And I'm going to wrap up with that too. So I don't want to focus on it too much. I want to talk about the objections, because I could go on and on about that, because I'll get really good about going for no. And then it's not that I'll back off, but I'll get really focused on, okay, I didn't hit Circle of Excellence last month. I want to hit it this month. And then I'm so focused on enrolling that I kind of start to have tunnel vision with who's on my radar, hostesses, customers, instead of just blankly thinking who could really benefit from this, which I truly believe is everybody, but you're going to get that objection. One of the things that one of the leaders in Color Street, Tracy Rogers, she was in a training a while back, and she had said something that stuck with me, and it was, what is the one thing holding you back? So if you offer to somebody and their default response is no, one really good thing is to ask them at some point. Usually I don't ask it once I offer, because usually they're going to tell me why right away. They're going to say, I don't have the time. I'm so busy. I can barely keep my head above water. And they go through kind of this whole thing. And then I give them a little response like, all right, I completely understand. But a lot of times they'll give me more than one thing. Like, I don't have the time for that. I don't even have the friend group for it, because they're throwing everything at the board, right? Like they want me to not offer it again. And it's not because I'm being pushy about it. It's just anybody, when someone asks me something, my immediate response is like, nah, I'm good. I say that a lot. Nah, I'm good. Someone wants to help me with something. No, I'm good. I got it myself. That's just my nature. It's a lot of women's nature, I think. So your first response is you don't want to put something on your plate. But asking like the next day to narrow it down to one thing, I think is so important, because you can tackle one objection. You can't tackle 5. So then usually there is one. Usually there's one main thing, and I'm going to go through a few of them, and you guys have heard them all. You probably thought them all yourself, right? We all objected to the business. I don't know if I did. I do know that I was thinking in my head some of the things that were objections. I quickly signed on. I didn't give myself a chance. I wasn't really offered in that way. I was offered just at a nail bar with everybody. And then I went home and thought about it, and I was like, I think I should do that. I told my husband, I think I should do that. And the things that could have went through my head, had I let it sit for a couple of days, I probably would have talked myself out of it. but I hopped on board. So it was very different. I didn't have that experience of somebody reaching out to me, but I bet if Jackie had said, Amanda, you should do this, I immediately would have said no. No way. I've never sold a thing in my life. There's no way I can do this. So they're going to say no, right? And it's, like I said, it's so much easier to think about one thing, because I'd be the person that gives you 5. I know I would be. This is an old system and I still love it. And I've heard multiple people train on it and say they don't like it. It's an old way. I don't know if you've ever heard of feel, felt, found. I missed a comma there, but feel, felt, found. I love it because anytime I get an objection, I make sure I validate their concern, because the last thing I want to do is for them to say, I don't have time. And for me to be like, I work full time. I have 2 kids that are both in travel sports. I do this. I'm in this. Like, that's not a way to handle an objection. And sometimes if you don't stop and just almost repeat, like, I completely understand how you feel that blah, blah, blah. You know, I felt this way, or one of my newer stylists or one of my teammates I know felt like. I do reference somebody that I know. So it's genuine. I know, I do understand how they feel. Nobody wants to add something onto their plate, right? So, and then I kind of go from there, and then I say, but what they found or what I found, you know, and then I see how they handled that objection. So each one of these objections, I like to kind of put into that framework if they're giving me one from the beginning. Okay, so it's just a way to frame the words as we go through these. All right, so these were from, I had purchased these from Amanda Todd. I don't know if you know who she is. She did a training for us a while back on parties. She does a lot of graphics. I actually buy a lot of her graphics, gifts, things like that. I like them. I like these ones. They're in our team page, so you don't have to get them from here. They're already in Team Mailing Your Dreams. I just wanted to go over some of them, and I purposely paired them up because I think they have some things in common. So one of the things is, you know, that you're going to hear is all my friends already buy from you, or all my friends already buy from others. And I've been getting this one a lot lately. The all my friends buy from others. I feel like I've been getting, like, they already have consultants, and I'm running into people at parties more than I have before that do already have consultants. And that's okay. I'm not going to steal somebody from another consultant. So when I offer them a party and they tell me, no, I actually have, I'm like, you know what? That is awesome. Thank you so much for supporting Susie. I keep it really great because, you know what? I don't know if their consultant's going to stay around. And I'm not saying that mean, but people come and go from the business. So I make sure I am building relationships even with people that have consultants. But I know that down the road, they might think of me, right? If their consultant no longer sells or whatever. But when you're offering somebody the business and they're saying, all my friends buy from you, that's an easy one, because their friends become their customers. So that to me is an easy objection, because my thing is you already have a customer base. And I say that a lot when I offer the business. If I know, you know, I'll talk to, I've offered to friend groups and said, which one of you guys is going to sign on as a stylist? Because you could be supporting each other. I appreciate that you're supporting me, and I like the business, but I really know that you guys could be doing this too, and you could be hosting for each other. And I mean, I love having you, but it would be awesome too if one of you guys was able to earn this income. So I've actually done that before. And otherwise, I'm always just, hey, they are yours, you know, which is why I'm always working. Because if I am offering the business to customers in my VIP page, or customers I'm meeting or hosting for me, then yeah, I want them to start with a customer base, right? So I want to be able to share. I want them to be able to have those customers. So that to me is an easy objection to tackle. The all my friends buy from others. I really liked some of her verbiage here. I really liked that middle one. It's great to start with friends and family, but the most successful consultants are building a customer base beyond their warm market. And I've said that to people. I've said, you know what? I bet you have a few friends and family that would buy from you, that would host for you because they love you, to help you get started. And that's all you need, is a couple people, and then you're branched out from there. And all the people that host from you don't know me, right? So I say, you don't know me, right? You've met me through other people. And that's how I've grown my network. Almost everyone on my VIP page I mean, there's a few, of course, that are friends and family, but for the most part, my active members, I've never met before, and I just share my experience with them. And if you don't have that experience yet, share somebody else's. Don't be afraid to share somebody else's stories when you're handling objections, because the longer you're in, the more objections you're facing, the more stylists, the more teammates you have to reference. So if you're new and if you have an objection, reach out to your upline too. Reach out and say, hey, this is what she said. What do you think I could say to her? I really think she'd be great, and then go from there. But again, you guys can read through these. I'm not going to hit on every one, but I really liked that one about buying from others, just really focusing on them getting out of that network. And I share with them, I bet a couple of them I bet would host for you. I bet that even if they're true to their consultant, your family, you're their cousin, you're their sister, best friend, so I'm sure they won't mind. They already love the product, supporting you, helping you to get a start, and then you'll be able to branch out from there. These two I felt went together too. So no one will buy from me, or I'm too shy. So, we definitely hear that one. And it's hard if you're not a shy person to say that. I don't know if I'd call myself shy, probably not shy. I'm not a real extrovert though, but I couldn't use that I'm actually a huge introvert, because I'm not, and that's just not true. And I'm never going to say something that's not true, but I would reference other people that had that same objection, thought they were too shy, but really loved the genuine connections that they were building with new customers. You can be shy. You don't have to be overwhelming in this business personality wise. We see all kinds be successful. Everybody runs their business different. Everybody's unique. You're your own entity, right? You're your own branch off of Color Street. So you don't have to be. I like some of these other ones too. And that one on the left, the being honest with people will show them they can be trusted. That's just building the relationships. So if you're too shy, but you're a people person, as in you are kind, you're generous, that will come across to people, so really focusing on their strengths. It is harder when you don't know them personally. But what I find, from them in parties is kind of what I focus on. If they've been a hostess or a customer, hey, I that one on the right too has got a few suggestions. It's also pointing to somebody else's experience. So, it's a little bit harder when you don't have that objection, but I like these because they give you some verbiage and these are nice and quick. Again, I would probably add to that validating, like, I completely understand. And for me, I mean, probably not most of us, we never thought we'd be on lives and, doing all of this in parties. And I know I never pictured myself doing that. And I wouldn't consider myself shy, but I think the more you learn, the more confident you get. I know one of these down the road talks about scripts. Like, you can have a script, you can take stuff to your computer, you don't have to have things memorized, and just kind of share some of those tips and tricks. And then the no one will buy from me is kind of like that last one, is just, we can reach out to people personally. All you need is a couple people to help you get started, and then branching out from there. So to me, that kind of tied along with the last one too. And that's also too when you could talk about their frank list. So if you hadn't talked about their frank list yet, that's something that you could talk about. That is, I bet you could make a list of coworkers and friends and acquaintances and family members, people you could reach out to, offer a sample. I'm always sharing with my new stylists scripts. That's why I have that in the first unit, are scripts to reach out to people to offer samples, ask people to be product testers. So I share that with potential stylists. Like, I've given samples to people that are considering the business to start sharing, to see if it's something that they can do. And that's always an option too. Hey, I'll send you 10 samples. You can share these with your friends and family. Try sending out a message like this. See how comfortable you are with it. And some of them do it and love it, and some of them don't. And that's okay. But I think they appreciate that I'm giving them that option too, to start sharing the product that way. I liked these. I thought they went together too, because I feel like a lot of times when I've gotten my spouse objection, it's come from them trying other companies. So when I was going through and thinking how I wanted to kind of share some of this information, that's kind of what came to me. Was I haven't gotten a ton that said that with their spouse. But I've gotten a couple, but to me, it falls back to the one on the left typically, or just their negative perception about direct selling in general. So I have had people say, well, my husband thinks it's a pyramid scheme. Like, a pyramid scheme is something when you basically sign people on and you don't have to do anything. That's not how it works. We don't make a dime off the kit. This isn't about signing people up and getting as many people as we can. That's not how our business works. And in fact, somebody who signs on with me can outrank me. People that are in my downline make more money than me. And I share that, or have the potential. If you don't have anyone, you could say have the potential, because it's the truth. There are a lot of people within our team who outrank their enrollers, out-earn their enrollers. So it's not a pyramid scheme. But anyways, I kind of got off there because I don't remember if I put that one in here, but that kind of goes along with these ones, is this negative perception about the industry. I've tried one of these. I really like some of these with I've tried before and failed though, because why do you think that was? Because you want to ask them a little bit about that experience. Because while I never had tried anything before, we have a lot of teammates in this group that have tried other companies before. We have leaders, like huge leaders in Color Street, that have done other companies. And I mean, some of them had some success, some of them didn't. They tried multiple. So it's interesting to put it back on them. Why do you think you didn't have success with whatever company, or just with that company? Because it may fall back not onto the company, it may fall back onto their effort, right? Like, I do want to zero in on, was it the direct selling business, or was it, did you try? And I'm not saying that to be mean, and I wouldn't say it in that way, but you know what I'm saying? Like, just kind of asking them what it really was. I really like that one too, that again, I love her verbiage because it's so quick, but you've never had me as your mentor before. So that, I think, is something so quick that you could come back with, especially with this, like, I've done these before and haven't done well, but you didn't have me to help you out. I will do everything that I can to teach you the tricks of the trade, supply you with a ton of training. Color Street does that, period. But I'd be happy to help you run your first party. Let them know that they're going to have your support, because why didn't you think? I know a lot of people who were with other companies that felt like they had zero support. I have new girls that are like, I can't believe the training. I can't believe the team support. So focus on those things, because that could definitely help them to see that it could definitely be different with Color Street, especially with the team and with you. It sounds like a lot of work. Because I get a lot of, how much time do you spend, which obviously I'll be ending with that objection, because I feel like we get that one the most. But I kind of like these. I don't ever want to tell people it's not work. And I never want to tell people it's easy, because it's not. It's simple, but it's not easy. So I want to be honest with them and say, like that one all the way to the left, it's simple and fun, right? It's simple and fun to work through and learn this business. Or it's like, I tell people, and this is the truth, Color Street is like my happy place. I feel like I'm, sprinkling Color Street fairy dust in all of these parties. People you guys know, there is so much negativity right now that I feel like a breath of fresh air to them, and they are a breath of fresh air to me. Just being able to share polish, nothing attached. I don't need to promise them anything, but a little smile on their face when they look down at their nails, and I share that with them. Like, that is work for me. It blows my mind that I do lives every Tuesday to earn money, but I do. So I just share that with them. Like, it's all simple things, but you can learn it. And the more you learn, the better you'll get at it. And you can run it how you want. So you may not want to do like I do. You may not want to run 2 or 3 parties a week. Your sales goals may not be 2,400 plus every month. That's okay. You don't have to. You get to run this business how you want. If you tell me you want to earn $100, I can share with you how you can earn $100, what you can do, the steps you take, and I guarantee it wouldn't be too much work. And that is the truth. If they were only if their goal was $100, I'm sure they could fit time for 2 parties in a month. And if I helped them with that first one, shared the tricks of the trade, helped them get some bookings, they're on their way, they're repeating that process. It definitely can be something that they can replicate. I can't do it like you do it. I often get that too, because they see lives and they see, this was the one I referred to earlier. I literally read from a script. And I remember, and this is back when we were doing in-person parties, but we all use the party cards. And people can use you can use the party cards on a party online. And I know there's scripts. I think Olivia put a script out on Beautifully Polished. I'll see if it's in our team page, but I know she has one for her nail bars. I know they're more for posts, but they could do a script for a live. And I also share with people that you don't have to do lives. I have stylists that are very successful direct to me, some of my enrollees that I know are super keen on lives. So I express to them, doing drawings with lives are super simple and easy. You're on there for a minute or two. I share with them ways that they can connect with their party goers, but not feel like they have to do, like I like to do a party kickoff. So a lot of times they see me and my nail bars, and then I have to share with them, you don't have to do it that way. There are other formats of posting more in the parties and not doing necessarily a live kickoff. So you might want to just come on and do a live drawing in the end. Or you might want to just, a lot of people are doing the phones, where you just record your screen and you have the spinner wheel and they can see the names go around, and then you post it and can say, hey, Susie won whatever in the nail bar. So there's a lot of ways around that. And sometimes that piece that I can't do it like you do it, I feel like stems from some of that presence that you have, as a little bit more seasoned stylist. So telling them about the scripts, and then, just focusing on, they get to do what's comfortable for them. So you never want to be like me. You never want to be like somebody else. You would find what your comfort level is and how you would want to run this business, because there's a lot of different ways, and just kind of reassure them that it's not just the way you do it, so everybody has their own niche. I don't have experience and I don't have confidence. I kind of felt like we're the same, because a lot of times I think the confidence comes from experience. So that's why I put these ones together. But again, the reassurance for these two is you. I love that one, that little sticky note on top. That's what I'm here for, right? You could say the same thing for confidence. And that is true. I understand how you feel. I felt the same way when I started Color Street, because I had zero experience, none. I had no confidence that I could sell a product, because I never sold a thing in my life, other than ribs at Damon's when I was like 20. Okay. I didn't sell anything in my life. So I do understand how you feel, but I definitely can show you the ropes. Once you get that first nail bar under your belt, you will start rolling, and there's no experience necessary, right? Everything is learnable. I always reiterate, everything we do in this business is a learnable skill. Right? There's nothing that we do that anybody can't learn. You don't need a college degree. You can have 3, right? It totally doesn't matter. You don't even need a high school degree. You can learn how to do this business. And that is absolutely true. So that's where you can focus on the training too. What I will say is if you're looking at these, and save these to your phone. If you don't have them you could just look at them in the team group too, but they're right in one of the units for enrolling, I think. But take a look at these, and when the next time somebody, gives you one of these, go back to these. Cause like I said, her responses are so short. I really like them, cause I personally have the word vomit, where I want to just talk and tell them why it's great, and, why I think they would be great. And I could give them this, and I could help them here, and I could train them here and point them to this app. And, so sometimes less is more. So pulling back and sometimes taking a look at these and just saying, I'm just going to respond that and see what she says, and then go from there. But anyways, confidence, I felt like, was kind of the same thing. And really, the confidence piece and the experience is also reassurance with the product. So a lot of people, if I'm saying you love the product, you would be awesome at being a stylist, I know you're already loving the product and you already are sharing the product. That's all the confidence you need. You don't have to learn 30 products. We're not going to come out with 18 different things, right? You just have to, you don't even have to memorize the names of the polish. I've gotten bad lately. I'm like, the red glitter, like, it's okay. You don't even need that. So just sharing with them that they're already loving the product. You already wear the polish great. Like that's all you got to do, right? Oh, I did put the pyramid scheme in here. The market is flooded. So I feel like that ties back into that earlier objection of everybody I know already has other consultants, because I'm getting these more and more, the longer we go. And Color Street is out there and everybody loves it. So everybody's sharing it, which is awesome. I mean, look at our sales. Our sales wouldn't be this as a company if people didn't absolutely love the product. But when I get the market is flooded, and she's got some great things here, and she does it for all companies. So she could be with Mary Kay, who's been around forever, or Tupperware, or 31 too. Or this could work for a company like ours. But, it seems sometimes feels like that, but there's still a lot of room for people who want to work their business. I like emphasizing that because I don't know what our active stylist number is, but it's still relatively low in the industry. So I used to say that. I usually say it's about half. And I'm only using that statistic because I know my own statistics with my own team. And I think that's pretty consistent across the board as far as like BQ numbers is what I look at. There's really, we may be growing in terms of stylists, but not everybody's active. Here's my own personal one for the market is flooded is how many women do you know with nails that might wear nail polish, right? Like our product, I'll never forget, went to conference and there was an incredible keynote speaker and she went through all the reasons that people could like that she goes to sales conferences and why they can't sell their product, what their reasons are. She went through all of them. We had none of them, meaning our price point is great, right? We don't have a lot of competition. I forget, I wrote down all 7 a long time ago. I have to look back at it because I loved it. But our price point doesn't really take anybody out of our market, which is amazing, right? Everybody has nails, right? So it's not limited to a certain group. And really just focusing on, I really think enough people that, again, you could get out of that warm market. Like there's how many ever billions of women. I don't know how many are in the US, but you could use that number, right? We are a very small number when we can literally sell to everybody. Like I said, nobody's out of our price. No, this product isn't really out of most people's price range. If you're going to splurge on one thing, you might splurge on your hair or your nails, right? So even in a down economy, I mean, like we're in, look how crazy it's been with our sales. So there's room for you. I'm always sharing that. And then back to the pyramid scheme, I kind of already addressed that earlier. But I do go over the how you can outrank enrollers and out earn, and we don't make money on the kits. I kind of focus on that because we're not an enrolling business. Like we don't just enroll and move on to the next. And I don't know other companies all that well, but I do know that some companies are built structurally more about people because people have to sign on and basically like almost create a membership, whereas we don't have that. So I feel like that is definitely an easy way for us to describe. And we have to continue to sell too. We can't enroll people and not do anything because A, we're not going to earn anything, right? And B, it's not going to create a sound sales team, which is essentially what we're building. These two I put together because I'm not a salesperson quite a bit too. Sometimes I don't want to be pushy. And my response to them is, do you think I'm pushy? That's my response. If somebody says I'm not a salesperson, I say, do you think I'm a salesperson? And they'll be like, well, no. Okay, because I don't feel like that. I know it sounds a little bit like a cliche, but I really don't feel like I'm having to sell the product. I really just feel like I get to share the product. And if you're already sharing it with your friends, if you're already showing off your nail polish, you're already selling the product. So I just focus on those things. And I just take it right back to me. Like, do you think I'm pushy? Because I don't feel like I am. And I continually have great sales and I'm always having new parties and I'm able to get bookings. I don't I really don't feel that way. And I want to get your perception. And then when they say no, I mean, I hate to say the product sells itself. I hate to use that term because it takes work and I don't want to give anyone a false perception of our business. But sorry, I thought I saw someone. But I do like to share with them, it really is just sharing, and you get to wear it all the time, right? Like I don't have to tell somebody about something that I don't have on me or something that they can't see, like a skin product or something like that. So that's kind of what I lean on for that. But again, she's got some great little things here. There are some pushy people, and I'm not one of them, and I wouldn't want you to be one either, right? So just those quick little comebacks I really like with her verbiage. And then these are kind of the last two. I don't have the time because I feel like that is my number one that I get. I don't have the time. And I have gotten, I don't have the money, especially more lately, with people being out of work. And, for me, I'm seeing Color Street as an answer for them. And they're telling me they don't have the money for the kit. I really, really like this green one for I don't have the money. Okay, well, let's take the cost of joining off the table. If money wasn't an issue, would you be interested in starting with Color Street? I do have some suggestions to help you raise the money to get started. Do you want help figuring it out? Because sometimes they may just be saying that. Sometimes it may be legitimate. So they could sell sets, right? If they hosted at some point or they purchased at some point, they could actually sell those sets. Some people do mystery sets from their kit. There's ways for people to purchase the kit and then be able to pay for it. I haven't had that much experience with it, but I do know there's people on the team that have. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. Pre-selling the sets as mystery sets, they're getting 13 sets in there. So there are ways, and if you're not sure of some of those, again, ask your upline for some ideas. But I do like asking them, if we could take that off the table, would you be seriously interested? If I could help you figure out a way, would you be interested? Because maybe they're not, and maybe that's just their go-to, their go-to for their no. And I think all of those answers kind of say that same thing. I don't have the time. I just focus on the flexibility. I let them know. My big thing is I point to social media. Are you already on social media? I don't want to call them out, but some of them I know are because they're on every post of mine. So I want to say, you're supporting me. I don't say it because I don't want to come across that way, but I do point right to social media. I say, are you already on social media? Is there any scroll time that you can replace with work time? Do I give up a little of my TV time? Yes. Do I get up a little bit earlier to get a little work done? I do. I like to do that. So I share some of those things where if you can squeeze in 30 minutes a day, do you think you could potentially, fit this in somewhere, replace something? We all have the same 24 hours in a day. I'm never going to tell you there's going to be more time for this. You'll just have to think of something that you would be willing to replace. Do you have time that you're waiting for your kid to get picked up from practice? Because I do. And when I'm there, sometimes I actually offer to drive just to be in the car and get some work done. So I just share those things with them about the flexibility. I do like that in my experience, busy people get the most done. And sometimes I'll share, I'm being a teacher, sometimes in summer, I lose focus a little bit. When I don't have my busy schedule, I sometimes am not as productive with Color Street. It sounds crazy, but some of you may know what I'm talking about. When you have that extra time, sometimes it's not time well spent. When I'm trying to crush some things in, fit it all in at one time, I tend to get a little bit more done. So there's a lot of things with time there, but some really good ideas, but I'm sure that's certainly one that you guys are seeing. Just going back to the mindset piece, keep a couple things in mind. One, you're going to get a lot of no's, so you just have to be ready for the no's. Your mindset, you really want to stay focused on the right reason, to share this an opportunity to help somebody else find success. If there's a time, and I will, again, I'm admitting here myself, sometimes I go back to, I'm gunning for a certain, circle of excellence, let's say. So I want circle of excellence and I'm not hitting it. and then I'm dead focused on enrolling one, and I don't really have my mindset in the right place. I always feel like I'm offering from a good place. Like, I really think this would benefit everybody that I'm offering to. So that is always genuine for me. But sometimes I'm not as focused truly on them, and I'm letting my own goals get in the way. So I feel like when my mindset's really in the right place is when I have the best success when it comes to enrolling. You know, focus on something they do well. I shared this earlier, but what do you really think about them that would make them a good stylist? Bubbly personality. You already love the polish, right? You're already sharing it. You have an incredible friend network. I never just offer the business without sharing why I think they would be a great stylist. If it's a hostess at the beginning of a party, even at that, I'll say, wow, you're already getting a really good group coming in, and they're already starting to be active. I think they'd really be supportive should you choose to turn this into your launch party. So I'm always trying to be specific about something I see in her that would make me think she'd be a good stylist. So she knows that I'm focusing on her strengths and not just saying, do you want to be a stylist? Like I would say to 300 people, kind of thing. And just the last thing here is go for no. So keep that, keep a list. I think there's one in the virtual office that you can print off that you can actually mark off names. I know 1 month I was really good and I used it for a couple months, but I just put a bunch of names, or I put a bunch of lines, and then I was writing down the names of people I was offering to. And when they said no, like they were on my list of no's, and I just kept going, and I was going for a certain number that month. So instead of saying, I want to enroll 2 to hit Circle of Excellence, it's, I want to hit 20 no's this month. I want to get 25 no's for the business. I want to get 5 no's this week. Make that specific and make it measurable, and then write it down. So that way you're accountable. If I see that I have names, 5 spots to go for no, if I'm doing a really good job in tracking it, then I feel like I'm better at doing it. Then I want to fill those names in. So that's just something. And I really like this. This is a book. I haven't read this, but I've listened to some excerpts from it. But yes is a destination, no is how you get there. So I really liked that and thought that was good. But I know there's a couple go for no books. I've heard good things about this one. I haven't read it myself. I've read some other things, but something that you could definitely take a look at. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing, and I'm going to see if you guys have any questions. I see some people hopped on, so welcome. Anybody have any questions or anything that they want to share about enrolling?
So I did the audiobook of that Go for No. And it's a quick read, and it's pretty interesting, pretty informational. So if you guys have a few minutes, I'd definitely check that out. And I would just listen to it in the car, driving to and from practices and picking up at games and everything like that. So it wasn't too bad of a read. So I would definitely suggest that book if you guys have a chance to read it or listen to it.
Yes, Ellen is very busy. Every time I call her, she's in the car. She is driving to or from practice.
I know.
And that's a great example, right, of being flexible. And I do share that. I love the earbud as much as I love to read more than listen. And I really do. I do feel like I get more out of when I read. I feel like I just have to default to listening because I can do it in the car. My prep hour at school is during Connect the Dots. So I actually get to, listen to it and work at the same time, usually. Sometimes I have an earbud for it. Sometimes I just sit it at my computer as I'm doing some other things if I can. But that's when I have to do those things, driving to work. And I live in the same city I teach, so it's not that far. But those little things I do, my kids know a lot of times if I'm taking them somewhere, they're not listening to me anyway. They're not paying any attention to me. So I may as well listen to Melissa Sodi and get something out of it. She did a great training a little while back, and she referred to a book. I think it was something about love languages, and she gave 7 word starters. like imagine if. I have them written down there next to my bed. I'm going to listen to her training again and figure out what that book is. But sometimes just the trainings to pick up verbiage, like I said, that one line from Tracy Rogers that, you know, asking somebody like the next day after they've sat on you offering them the business and say, you know, if you could narrow it down, what would be the one thing, the one main thing that's holding you back? Like I said, then you can get at their real objection. And like I said, it's so much easier to focus on one objection than try to battle the three that they just gave you. I don't have time, I don't have the money, and my husband would kill me. You know, if they give you three, then you're like, oh, well, and you're looking at those scripts like, well, tell your, you know, whatever, you can't do that. You know, so just sometimes those audiobooks and are great. Or I mean, I'm a huge Connect the Dots fan. So search by enrolling and you'll find some great verbiage, because I'm always looking for verbiage, because like I said, if I'm not mindful, then I'm wordful, and it's not good. Not good when I'm too wordy. So thank you. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love it. And
Amanda.
I saw there was Go for No for network marketing too. So I'm sorry, go ahead, whoever was talking.
It's okay. I just had a quick question. So on one of my activities I did, would you rather be a shopper or a stylist? And I've had a couple people say stylist. How do I approach that?
That's awesome if you're getting that feedback. So I would say I would get right in Messenger with them immediately. Are you doing that? Are you getting in Messenger with them?
Yeah, I did. I had one. She hasn't actually tried Color Street, but I sent her a sample on that, and she said she's gonna try the sample this week and then maybe think about the product, selling the product.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. Because I would get right into Messenger and just say, hey, you know, I saw that you put down that you could possibly be interested in being a stylist. What what is your experience with Color Street? And just get a conversation going. Because especially if they're newer in the party and you haven't gotten to know them, and really anyone I'm meeting in parties, I don't know them that well. So really just asking more questions than talking to her. Like, what made you select that? Is, what is your experience with Color Street so far? So if she says, yeah, I haven't even tried it yet, that's awesome. I'll send you a sample. Have you ever sold anything before? And I mean, I don't know have you ever sold anything, Tiffany?
Well, I did retail for about 14
Oh,
years,
okay.
so I've never done I used to tried Avon, but I wasn't very good at it because I didn't have the customer base. But this has been a lot easier for me.
Good. And you just, like I said, hit your first jump start. So that's awesome. So yeah, I mean, just sharing that experience is awesome. But I like to ask some questions, see where they're coming from. I want to know what is getting them interested. Are you looking for some holiday cash? I'm trying to get more information so I know then how I can respond to that. I can say, yeah, if you every average party, you're making about $80. That somebody, I just told someone that the other day. I was like, to me, that's worth it, because they were asking me how much time I spend. I always do a post, where they're asking me questions. And that's really great too, because then everybody's seeing those responses, and some people are just in it for the ticket. So keeping those in your party is really great too.
Well, I was gonna say I've been very fortunate to keep the nail bars going so far, so I'm really excited about that. But it's been interesting because I'm still very new at this, so trying to get the right words and everything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah, well, I'm still trying to get the right words, so don't feel bad. It's still, Ellen's been with me from the beginning, and she'll still message me to me like, what would you say to this? And I'm like,
All the time. And I am always looking to update my verbiage too.
yeah,
Like if I'm saying something and I just feel it's stagnant and someone else has a better way to say it, I'm all for that. So it's just a learning process. And even from party to party, I learn from every party, almost every single party. I tweak just a little bit, maybe here and there, maybe something I say, maybe a picture I post, or maybe something I add if I go live, so I'm learning from each party that I do too. So, always learning. That's the fun part.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate that.
yeah. And you'll never really feel like you've I hate to say it, but you've just got it down. If somebody feels that way, I don't even know if the tippy top earners honestly feel that way. Cause I know I don't, I feel like if I do get complacent, like as Ellen was talking about tweaking the parties, if I'm doing too much of the same over and over again, it just gets stale for me. And I feel like I need a change. I need something different. I need to, I started to use Post My Party for my parties. I love it. But I went through and tweaked again my template, and I love it because I can tweak it every time I create a new party. There's a real easy ability to copy a lot of things over, but also tweak what I'm doing too. So that's been really great, but you don't need that. I mean, Facebook has scheduler, but it's helped me because I'm always looking to stay fresh and put new things in, and that's definitely it. So yeah, that's awesome.
Amanda, what was that you mentioned using?
Post My Party.
Post My Party.
So it's a third party poster, meaning like you put your posts in there, you got to connect your I used one called SynthShare before. And I really liked it, but it got me in Facebook jail. It was last fall, and I just got gun shy, and I went back to scheduling with Facebook all of my parties. And on a month where I'm doing maybe one a week, it's not bad to schedule. But like right now, when I'm doing 2 or 3 a week and I run my parties for 10 days.
That's me right now.
So I love it. The one thing I don't love is how you can't, like, I like to tag a lot of my guests in my posts. So what I do is I'll just go in at like my lunchtime and just tag some people even in the night before that day. So I don't feel really bad about that. I do miss that part, but it's well worth it to have my posts, and it's very easy to tweak. So that's exciting. So anyways.
Thank you. I did have one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have my very first hostess, because I just started recently. She had a very small party and got a little discouraged because people were not buying from her party. Well, I was ordering through her, and she was ordering a lot. And she did get a couple of orders, and she actually hit the $600 mark between all of that. So yay.
Wow.
But she was like, I buy cookies and all these things from these other folks, and they bought nothing from me. So there is her level of discouragement, right? But she, on her own page, on my page, and then there's like 2 other party pages she's on for other folks that have signed up from different parties. She is like the greatest saleswoman. She goes out and finds Pinterest things and posts pictures. She's always loving, commenting, doing those things. She is like addicted to the product. Mine are naked right now. I'm about to do them. But and so she's like, I'm like, she was like, I opened all my things and put them in a photo book. Here are 30 nail files if you want them for giveaways. I said, save them for when you enroll. Or I said, save them for when, you want to start your game.
Yeah.
But how do you kind of get somebody from that place of discouragement where she didn't have a lot of external orders and didn't feel like she had a lot of support from that end to you have a broader audience and there are a lot of people that you can service and help? I'm struggling.
Yeah, no, I would focus on her strengths, and I would focus on her being very excited about the product and going back to the, I don't know enough people, because that's essentially to me that same objection is saying all you need is a couple people. You need 1 or 2 people, ideally we say launch plus 4, and that's going to get you your strongest start, but not everybody starts that way. So, if you could, you're so amazing at this. If you could, if I gave you 10 samples, do you think you could message 10 people or get these 10 out, ask them to be a product tester? It's a company you're thinking about signing on with because you love the product, but you want to gauge interest first. She might be willing to do that, or just say that you love this product. You're sharing, you're in these groups, you're doing my job already. If you could get 1 or 2 people to commit to hosting for you during this very incredibly awesome season of shopping, that could help you to get outside of your warm market. I know you were discouraged, and again, I'm being a little too wordy right now, but you get my drift of, you know, you feel like you didn't have a great party, but I guarantee you have 1 or 2 people that you could reach out to, you know, that you could get to host. And if not, maybe you could try this route. Give her a script. I can help you if you need a script, but give her a script about a product tester. And I've literally had people do that, share, where I've sent them 10 samples and said, because then I know too if they are willing to do the work, because that's where the work is, right? And
Yeah.
and while everybody has bad parties, and I've had great hostesses with bad parties, so don't get me wrong with that, but there is a still something more that can be done even in those parties, and it could just have been timing for everybody. You never know. So to focus on the one thing, I feel like, you know, would be not great for her.
Okay. And she works for me, so I know she's a hard worker, and I couldn't like push it.
Right.
You know, I can't push it. Obviously, there's some limits there, but I had to joke with her the other day, and that's a great idea. So if I could get that script for the 10 testers,
Mhm.
I think that would be super fun. And I just had a party that grew to 40 people, and you know, that might be something I could offer some people in that group to get people going. So thank you for the ideas. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.